Tonight, our special transmission as Israel continues its genocide in Gaza after 1 year. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Muslim News Canada on Muslim Network TV. I'm Aisha Ashraf. It has been 1 year and 1 day since Israel started its genocide in Gaza. Gaza's health ministry reported 56 Palestinian deaths in the last 24 hours. Israeli tanks advanced deeper into the Jabalia refugee camp a day after airstrikes killed 17 people in the area. The Israeli military has issued evacuation orders to residents of Jabalia, Beit Hanun, and Beit Lahya. However, Gaza's Interior Ministry urged civilians to stay, citing previous instances where safe passages were not provided. The death toll since the start of the war is 41,965. Nearly 100,000 civilians are wounded. The Israeli military has deployed a 4th division to support its ground offensive in southern Lebanon. This comes as Hezbollah says it carried out a significant attack on Israeli forces near Lebanon. The recent mobilization suggests that over 15,000 Israeli troops are now engaged in Lebanon. Hezbollah says its fighters have attacked Israeli forces advancing near al-Naqura, its southwestern Lebanon, where UN peacekeepers with UNIFIL are stationed. The group says it launched artillery and rocket fire on the Israeli troops, forcing them to retreat with confirmed casualties. Hezbollah has also accused Israeli forces of using UN positions as human shields. The group says it will not target Israeli troops near the peacekeeping positions. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant has announced that Hashem Safieddine, the expected successor to slain Hezbollah leader Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah, has likely been eliminated. Safieddine, a key figure within Hezbollah and Nasrallah's cousin, has not made any public statements since an Israeli airstrike late last week. In a video message, Gallant can be heard saying Hezbollah is now leaderless. Nasrallah is gone, and it seems his replacement is gone too. Earlier Tuesday, Israel confirmed the killing of another senior Hezbollah commander, Suhail Husseini, in a strike on Beirut. Husseini was responsible for managing the group's logistics, budget, and operations. Hezbollah has not yet commented on either strike. In a televised address prior to Gallant's announcement, Hezbollah's deputy leader, Naim Qassem, expressed support for efforts to negotiate a ceasefire in Lebanon without insisting on a Gaza ceasefire as a precondition. This marks a possible shift in the group's stance. However, Qassem affirmed Hezbollah's resolve. He said the group's military capabilities remain intact, despite Israel's intensified operations. Muhammad Ismail al-Hawaihi recalls the unspeakable anguish of an Israeli soldier setting fire to a makeshift tent, knowing his daughter, Dua, was still inside. Dua was 34 years old and disabled. She had been separated from her father just moments before, as Israeli troops stormed the school-turned-shelter in Jabalia refugee camp in northern Gaza during a 3-week assault in May. Unable to carry his daughter, who could not move or speak, Hawaihi was forced to flee the tent when Israeli forces opened fire. Shortly after, soldiers began pouring gasoline on the makeshift tents in the schoolyard, igniting them. Hawaihi stood helplessly, watching the flames consume the tent with his daughter inside. Hawaihi says his daughter was burnt alive while he couldn't move. He says he felt his heart and brain burning. Dua was completely dependent on her father after the death of her mother 8 years earlier. Hawaihi had been displaced with his daughter several times over the past year due to the ongoing conflict. The family had sought refuge at a UN-run school in Abu Zaitoun after their previous shelters were bombed. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is calling for an end to the suffering of civilians on the first anniversary of the ongoing genocide in Gaza by Israel. Trudeau has also expressed Canada's commitment to working towards an irreversible path to achieving a two-state solution, where Israelis and Palestinians can live securely within internationally recognized borders. Trudeau has also expressed solidarity with those affected by the Hamas attacks. He says, "Our thoughts go to all Israelis and Jewish people whose lives have been shaken by this unthinkable tragedy." He has pledged continued support for the Jewish community and Israel. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre has voiced strong support for Israel's right to defend itself against Iran. Poilievre is even advocating for proactive measures that could include strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities and oil infrastructure to cut funding for what he referred to as the terrorist regime. Poilievre's remarks came during a commemoration marking the one-year anniversary of Hamas's October 7th attack on Israel. Poilievre says it is very important to prevent Iran from using nuclear weapons. He is calling for decisive action if necessary. The Canadian government, on the other hand, has taken a more measured approach. Defense Minister Bill Blair says that while targeting Iranian oil facilities might be appropriate to weaken Iran's ability to attack Israel, the government does not support targeting Iran's nuclear infrastructure. Blair's remarks made to reporters yesterday mark a shift from comments he made last week. Previously, he said Israel should focus on missile sites and airfields, but avoided endorsing strikes on oil facilities. U.S. President Joe Biden has also urged caution, advising Israel to consider alternatives to attacking Iranian oil facilities. Biden has reiterated his opposition to any strikes on Iran's nuclear sites. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News Canada. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV.